Most certainly caused by the comparatively low temperature of the feed water, which is approximately 185 degrees Fahrenheit for both boilers. An interesting phenomena can occur once the boiler feed water pump has turned off. Watch how, after the mist has cleared, the water level continues to rise. In fact, what is happening is that the cooler feed water has temporarily suppressed the boiling rate, and with the burner firing, what we are seeing is the normal steam bubbles reappearing as the boiler resumes full steam production. This effect is a disadvantage of on-off level control and is much less pronounced with modulating control of feed water, where the feed water flow rate gradually alters to match any change in steam demand. A similar effect can be seen in boiler A, though the rise in level is not as pronounced due to the oversized shell. If we now increase the steam demand, the water level will rise. Observe first boiler A. And now boiler B. This rise in level is caused by the drop in boiler pressure and flashing of the boiler water into steam as the demand increases. The bubbles of steam expand under the reduced pressure, causing a rise in level which is not always apparent in the sight glass or inside the protection tube, both of which contain water without steam bubbles. If the steam demand is increased beyond the limit of the boiler's maximum steam generation rate, the effect can be spectacular as well as potentially dangerous. If water is allowed to carry over with steam and accumulate in the steam main, it can cause severe damage to valves and fittings through water hammer and could even cause injury to personnel. Impurities in the water can also cause contamination of the steam main, control valves, heat exchangers, and steam traps. We have seen how the water level rises in a boiler when the load is increased. This is often referred to as swell. It is, however, not uncommon for a boiler to shut down when overloaded due to the water condition. In order to explain this apparently contradictory phenomena, we will slightly overload boiler B for a short period and observe the effect. Within a few seconds, the water level rises to the extent that water begins to be drawn into the steam takeoff. As soon as the high demand for steam moderates, the water level drops and the low water cutoff turns off the burner. A sustained high steam demand can result in the tripping of the low water and auxiliary low water cutoffs while that demand is still present. In a moment, you will see boiler B being put on load to create a steam demand of 6,600 pounds per hour, which is 15% above its maximum rated output. See what happens only a few seconds after the vent is opened. The level is rising rapidly, and the water starts to be drawn into the steam takeoff. This is water that would normally be carrying over straight into the steam system. Now the water level is so high that it has obscured the camera port, yet the level in the gauge glass is starting to drop. The indicated water level is still dropping, though the viewport is still obscured. The low water alarm has now sounded. Although the level in the boiler is quite obviously too high and carryover is occurring, the water at the top of the boiler consists mainly of steam bubbles, and the level probes, being in the protection tube, is measuring virtually bubble-free water. The sight glass is also giving us a similar indication of the water level. As soon as the burner shuts down, the level of this bubbles-charged water drops very rapidly, so much in fact that it exposes the stay bars in the boiler. Both low and auxiliary low water alarms are now on. The presence of vapor indicates that the feed pump is operating and that normal conditions are being restored. Boiler B was allowed to operate with the TDS control disabled until a TDS of 5,600 ppm was reached. The normal operating TDS for this boiler is 3,000 ppm. We can see immediately that the appearance of the boiler water has changed. The bubbles on the water surface have a foamy, creamy appearance and are much smaller and slower to burst than at normal TDS levels. The surface of the water appears calmer. Even with a normal steam demand, the rise in water that occurs when the feed pump switches off can cause problems. Observe what happens. Within seconds, the water level has risen to the extent that foam is being drawn into the steam nozzle, causing wet steam. Boiler pressure is a fairly normal 115 psi at this point. So even with a moderate steam demand, badly controlled TDS can cause foaming, leading to carryover and wet steam. We have seen the way in which water behaves in steam boilers under normal conditions, high and peak steam demands, and have examined the effect of normal and high TDS. We hope we have also demonstrated just how important it is to have precise, accurate level controls and alarms, as well as providing a system to control the level of total dissolved solids as closely as possible to the boiler manufacturer's recommended level. Spirax-Sarco's team of boiler control specialists provide the knowledge, service, and products to ensure efficient and safe boiler operation in the United States and worldwide. Spirax-Sarco, the USA's leading provider of steam system solutions.